The Crime Syndicate is basically an alternate Earth where the Justice League became evil. So how did they form up to become the Crime Syndicate? Welcome to the Comicstorian channel, where I take things such as comic books, video games, and movies, and I break them down into a synopsis, allowing you to understand. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and give you a true reason to drive to your local comic book store and continue this amazing industry. What we basically do is take that synopsis and give you an audio drama. I read things narratively to you, and I hope that you enjoy it. Today we're going to be covering Crime Syndicate's issue 1 through 3, and then we're going to take a small break and we're going to come back with the origins of a couple of those characters. The Crime Syndicate has been around in DC Comics for ages now. It's basically an idea of, on an alternate universe, the Justice League is evil. Ultraman, Superwoman, Owlman, all these various characters. In today's comic, during the recent relaunch of DC Comics with Infinite Frontier, they decided to reinvent the Crime Syndicate, give them brand new origins, and give them an origin as to how the team came together. That's what we're covering today. Let's begin with issues 1 through 3 of Crime Syndicate. November 22nd, 1963, Dallas, Texas. Clark could remember it like it was yesterday. Everyone was lined up in the streets to watch the great man go by, but that day was different. That was the day that John F. Kennedy fell and the world changed. With that, America was released from the great man's grip. But there was no mistaking who had freed them. They could rest easy because that day forward, he'd be watching. Ultraman would always be watching. Even then, the Daily Planet published a paper with the headline, "Is Ultraman Losing His Grip?" As Cat Grant tells Jimmy to get her coffee, her and the others in the office notice a truck flying at them. But it wasn't any flying truck. It was Ultraman slamming a Daily Planet delivery truck through the windows. Cat yells, asking, "Do you think that everyone's afraid of you? Maybe some are, but they don't know you like I do, Ultraman." His eyes burn red as he stares at Cat, telling her, "You do not know me. I am more than even you could comprehend." Cat scoffs, stating that he could kill her, but the people of Metropolis would rise up against him. If not her, then Alexander Luthor. Ultraman laughs, stating that Metropolis could never choose a bald weakling like that over him. Metropolis is nothing without him. Cat says that Metropolis is nothing with you, Clark. Ultraman tells her that she is free because he allows it. She will show him respect, and if she runs any more fake news about Ultraman, he'll kill her and her entire staff, even the janitors. She says that he can't be, but Ultraman tells her, "You hear that? Oh, how could you? You're only human." But then again, isn't that the point? Oh, and one last thing, Miss Grant, don't ever call me Clark again. Meanwhile, an Arnold DC, the ambassador for Themyscira, Donna Troy, known as Superwoman, is having a meeting with President Oliver Queen. She whispers, asking who is the power behind the presidency, and Oliver shouts, you are." She asks what is he going to give her, and Oliver shouts, whatever you want, access to whatever you want. She tells him perfect. She'll need their top secret files on the metahumans. It'll be a lovely down payment. Oh, and one last thing. "Who do you belong to?" And Oliver shouts, "Superwoman!" She laughs as the FBI kick in the door, asking what is going on here. And Oliver says, "I told you not to disturb me!" Just then, there's an earth-shaking rumble, and one of the agents asks, "What was that?" Arnold doesn't get earthquakes. And Superwoman smiles. That wasn't an earthquake. That's something else. Something bigger. Meanwhile, over in Coast City, an officer detains a suspicious man, while the Emerald Knight, John Stewart, watches from up above. His ring says that they're never going to get what they deserved. His authority supersedes any of the Earth forces. John tells his ring to shut it, and the ring goes on telling him that he serves justice, but he always wants to wait. Are you afraid of acting? We gave you your damn power, use it! John then reaches down, grabbing the officers and the man, telling them, "You both stand accused, theft for one and preying on the weak for the other. You have betrayed the collective. How do you plea?" The officer asks, John Stewart, right? You were a police officer. From one cop to another. You know we're doing what we have to do to get by." And the ring tells John, "That is utter nonsense. Get the hell on with it already." John then says, "By the power vested in him, by the overlords of Oa, you are hereby convicted." And as John lets the two of them fall to their deaths, the ring says that it's about damn time that he grew a pair. He's going to need them. John asks why is that, and the ring says because they are here. He is this world's only defense. Not even the Kryptonian addict can save them. It has to be him. But he sees the inherent problem, right? With him as their protector, the Earth is friggin' doomed. Over in Central City, Quick and Atomica run through killing people because, well, because they can. However, they feel the Earth shake, and that is the beginning of the invasion. Ultraman looks up at the skies at the giant starfish-shaped alien as it descends, smiling, cracking his knuckles. Superwoman flies up along with John in their respective cities. However, Quick isn't quick enough and immediately gets captured. Ultraman starts to rip and tear the aliens apart because nothing could kill him. Nothing could even hurt him. And then he notices that the aliens aren't attacking his body. They're burying their tentacles in his brain. They want him. Soon the voices begin to speak. Join us, find others, free us. Ultraman's eyes glow red. Metropolis belongs to him, and if he can't have it, nobody can! The voices tell him that there is no him, that he is them, and that he is a part of Starro. Over in Gotham, Owlman stops a would-be robber, and as the victim says thank you, Owlman snaps the robber's neck, telling the victim to go. Spread the word. The Talons stalk this city. Anyone making moves here will answer to them. Tell them that the owl is a bird of prey. As Owlman lets go, the victim takes out his phone, taking a few pictures stating that he will tell everyone. And bonus, he'll put this up on his Pixogram. Owlman looks back, stating, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. I want to be a fable and a folklore, not fact." Before the man can even respond, he is shot in the back by Alfred. And Alfred says that he is always cleaning up his messes. Owlman asks, "Really?" As if I didn't already have that covered in a dozen different ways. However, something is happening. Reports are coming in from Metropolis, DC, New York, Central City, everywhere. Alfred asks what is, and Owlman tells him that it sounds like a global invasion. They're going over every major city, a handful of other spots too. No discernible rhyme or reason as of yet. Alfred looks up at the empty sky and asks if every major city is doing this. Surely Gotham has made the list. I'd be insulted if we didn't. And Owlman says everything has a reason, and I intend to find out what that reason is and exploit it. On the outskirts of Metropolis, Owlman drives through, following the trail of starros as they make their way towards the Earth. They all start to swarm the Owlmobile, meaning that they know that he is a threat, even without metahuman abilities. It is time to cut some of those up and examine them. Back over in Arnold, DC, the Starros attack the White House and Superwoman is unimpressed. But as she looks up, she smiles, asking, "Well, if it isn't you." Owlman, now under Starro's thrall, says that they're coming with him. Superwoman asks, "What, President Queen?" "Meh, you can have him. Queen wasn't that good anyway." Ultraman responds, "Not him, you." And Superwoman says, "Oh my, that sounds like fun." Ultraman tells her that he doesn't care who she is, but she should know that he doesn't mind hitting girls. Superwoman asks, "Is that so?" "Well then get ready, youngster. This girl hits back." As Superwoman leaps up, she grabs onto Ultraman, and the two go shooting through the sky. Meanwhile, over at the old Wayne Tower, Alfred asks, "What exactly is this?" Owlman says that this is a little seafood. Hope it doesn't spoil on the drive home. With Starro laid out on the table, Owlman says that its adaptations for space travel are impressive, providing several advantages in their atmosphere. Despite its shape, it has more in common with an octopus than a starfish. Considering that all octopoda are venomous, not sure if it's venom, but the aliens are secreting something. And given how they assessed him, he'd say that they're highly intelligent, which means that they shouldn't assume that they're acting alone. Alfred says that all of these physical adaptations, it being highly intelligent, sounds like a challenge. But we have found a weakness for every other foe thus far, it's just a matter of time. Owlman puts on his glove, telling Alfred, "That's right, start the clock, old chum." Up in space, Ultraman and Superwoman continue to spiral out of control, with Superwoman asking who is driving this bus anyway, and what's that thing on his chest? Ultraman says, "I am part of Starro now, and soon you will be as well." As the two crash into an orbiting space station, letting the humans inside be sucked out into the vacuum, Superwoman says that it sounds like him, which means that he wants her. Ultraman tells her, nah, you're not my type, but Mother Starro needs you, so I thought I'd fetch you for the greater purpose. As Superwoman begins to free herself, she says that all men think that they can force her to do their bidding, but they always wind up begging for scraps from underneath her heel. While Superwoman wraps Ultraman up in her lasso, Ultraman yells that she doesn't understand. The Starro's fight is their fight as well. Maybe not today, but someday their oppressors are coming to Earth. That is why they came to him first. He is the toughest, the fastest, and the Starros need all of them, the metahumans, and he will bring them into the fold, starting with her. Superwoman laughs as she pulls and swings the lasso over her head, rocketing Ultraman back to Earth, telling him, such typical male hubris. Looks like you need Superwoman to bring you down to Earth. However, back in Gotham, Owlman continues his research when he begins to notice a pattern in the Starro's attacks. Metropolis has Ultraman. DC and Central City have Superwoman, Quick, and Atomica. Alfred asks, what do the Starfish want with the metas? And Owlman says that they're recruiting them. That's the theory, at least, that the aliens aren't killing the metas, so it fits with what they know. However, it's avoiding Coast City, home of the Emerald Knight. He's betting that they know something, and he believes that he's got just the thing to help them find out. Over in DC, Ultraman and Superwoman crash into the ground, and Ultraman tells her that she's tough. He'll give her that, but he isn't going to give her the upper hand. She is just embarrassing herself at this point. Superwoman begins to get back up, stating that she doesn't need the lasso's power to make Ultra Boy submit. But before she could stand, Superwoman is kicked in the face, and Quick says, hey, name's Johnny Quick, and I don't like slowing down. You have no idea what you're up against? No comprehension. So I suggest you join us willingly, or you and my boot are about to get real intimate again. Superwoman says that they would be surprised at what she can comprehend, and Quick tells her, all right, let me put it straight. Surrender or die. Superwoman gets back to her feet, stating that she will kill them both, when suddenly the Starros latch onto everyone's chest and they begin to scream. Superwoman asks what the hell, and at that moment, a giant green sword stabs through the Mother Starro, and the ring tells John, we are surprised you didn't screw it up. John asks if this is the threat that they told him about, and the ring asks, do you think this is over? Only the Starros in the vicinity felt that, the others. At that moment, Owlman's voice can be heard through the ring asking, John Stewart, can you hear me? John asks, how is it even possible? Who are you and how are you hacking my ring? Owlman tells him, you're not the first Emerald Knight that the Owens have planted on Earth. I've been preparing for quite some time. Now shut up. It'll only take a moment to download what I need from your ring. In the meantime, I suggest you get ready for incoming. John asks incoming, and dozens of other Starro-infected metas charge at him yelling, he has a ring, our sworn enemy, a ring, destroy him! John screams asking where the hell did these guys come from. Ultraman looks up stating that more are coming. He can see them with his ultra vision, which means it is time for some payback. John flies down, telling them that they're an intergalactic race of world-conquering beasts. Throw the ring, Owlman tells it. It's a bit slanted. Regardless, the important thing is that they're here and I have found a weakness. John yells for him to get out of the ring, and Superwoman asks if he's talking to his jewelry or if his jewelry is talking. John tells her, no, maybe, who is this? And Owlman walks up carrying a Starro and a green power battery asking, who am I? I'm the man with the plan. She has lived for thousands of years, waged war from Babylon to Olympus, Mons and beyond. The sands of time whisper her name, the Superwoman. Nothing, no man, no beast has ever stood in her way, but this foe is different. The Starro Collective fights not just with body, but also with mind. After countless battles with their enemies from across a cosmic ocean, they now crash upon the shores of Earth 3. The Emerald Knights, the private police force of the ancient overlords of Oa, have never vanquished the Starro beasts. The Starros once fought the Knights, including Earth's Herald Jordan, to a last stand. Casualties were at an all-time high on both sides, yet still the Starros live on. But Superwoman is not an Owen. She is not one of their weak-willed Emerald Knights. She is powerful in body and mind. These Starros have never truly met their match until now. She is Donna Troy, and she has no equal. Even now, in Arnold DC, the Starros prove to be a match even against Earth's mightiest heroes. Ultraman tells Johnny Quick to gather them up so that he can use his Ultra Vision. But Johnny sucks up all the Starros in his speed whirlwind, then rips them apart, telling him no need. Plus, this is so much more fun! Owlman tells Superwoman that the Knight killed a big Starro, but she was not the queen. They need to take the fight to the Starro Queen. So a few seconds later, over Metropolis, Ultraman flies by the Queen stating, "I could have told you the Queen's in my home turf. Not sure why everyone is listening to Bird Boy over there." Owlman ignores the remark, telling Superwoman that the Emerald Knight's ring can't break the Queen's hide. However, be sure to protect him because the Emerald Knight is still their best weapon. The Emerald Knight's ring asks, "Did you hear that? They think that you're of use? Show us what you know." Owlman tells Johnny to keep the ground clear and get Atomica as close to the Queen's Maw as possible. After that, it's Atomica's turn to fly. As Atomica rockets off Johnny and into the Queen's mouth, she shrinks down and slips into the bloodstream of the Starro. Owlman tells her to just let the blood carry her to where she needs to go. But just as a heads up, people, looks like Metropolis decided to get into the fight. Alexander Luthor is the tip of the spear. Alexander flies up yelling to everyone that they may not have superpowers, but they have their hands and their hearts. Evacuate Metropolis, leave no stone unturned. Ultraman, if you can hold this thing off, we can get everyone out. As Alexander flies up, Ultraman grabs him by the leg. "If you want help, you should just go kill the thing yourself." Ultraman throws Alexander at the Queen, and as Alexander slams into the hard flesh, he declares, "I hate that man." A few moments now go by with the Queen beginning to scream in pain, and Owlman says that that's their signal. "Ultraman, go be Ultra." Ultraman screams as he flies in straight through the Queen, yelling, "It's always up to me to do the heavy lifting, isn't it? Freaking freeloaders!" Owlman tells the Emerald Knight that it's his turn now. Get in there and light up Starro. As the Knight flies in, the flesh begins to knit back, and he says that the wound is closing already. "That thing is unbeatable." The Knight's ring yells to just shut up and fly in there. "Watch as we save the world." While the Emerald Knight's ring begins to release all of its power inside of the Queen, the Knight radios back that the hole is completely healing over. "I'm trapped inside." Just then, one of the Queen's tentacles stabs through, stabbing Emerald Knight, throwing him out, yelling, "Get out of me!" The Queen begins to yell in everyone's head, bringing out their worst fears, but on the ground, Alexander asks, "What is happening to the metahumans?" Owlman says that he can't be sure, but the psychic attack seems to be focused on them, which means that there might be a chance while the Queen is distracted. But Superwoman, she fights through it. While the Starros begin to exploit everyone's emotions, it seems to have misunderstood something. Superwoman doesn't have emotions that can harm her. She begins to fly around using her barbed lasso to tie up the Queen's legs and then lands right in the middle of one of their eyes. As she pulls on the lasso, the Queen tells her to stop hurting us. "We are the last hope to free the Starros from the overlords of Oa. Came for your help. Sought refuge from Owen murderers." Superwoman pulls tighter, stating, "You tried to enslave everyone. Now you want mercy? I have none to give." Soon the giant Queen falls out of the sky, crashing down onto the city. But what's more, it's all of the Starros around the world that begin to die off. A few moments later, Atomica rips her way out of the Queen, telling them that they all freaking owe her. Ultraman tells Superwoman that she's welcome. He punched a hole in it, and all she did was ride it down into the grave. Superwoman turns to him. "Right. Keep telling yourself that, Ultraman." The Emerald Knight sees Owlman walking with a power battery, stating, "We really need to talk about how you got that." And Owlman tells him, "No, we really don't." Alexander runs up, stating that they could have waited. They could have saved so many more people. With all their powers working together, they could have saved every last soul in Metropolis. Even with Ultra Vision, can't you see? This is your home too. Don't you care, Ultraman? Ultraman flexes and smiles. "Of course I do. That's why I saved it." And there you have it, the story of how they came together as their own version of the Justice League, the Crime Syndicate. But we're going to take a quick break and bring you a message from our sponsor, Mint Mobile. And when we come back from the ad, we're going to give you a couple of the origins of these characters that were put in as backups in the comic. But let's hear from Mint Mobile for a second. Today's complete story is sponsored by Mint Mobile. After years of getting ripped off by big wireless providers and tons of fine print contracts, it's time to say enough and get a phone plan that saves money without sacrificing quality. Well, Mint Mobile is just that thing. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month, and that's it. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. I've been using Mint Mobile for my work phone, and it's been great. No downgrade in quality or service. Only an upgrade in the money that I'm saving. I really do recommend it. You can even use your own phone with a Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number. If you aren't completely satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guaranteed. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/complete. That's mintmobile.com/complete. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/complete. All right, guys, it's time to dive into the origins of some of your favorite characters from the Crime Syndicate. As a baby, the young Cal was sent away from his dying planet in hopes that he would not suffer the fate that his parents did. He was the last hope. However, when John and Martha Kent found the baby, they took him in as their own, naming him Clark. But what they didn't tell him is that he had to hide his powers, that he should have made them known, because he was special, that he was better than everyone at everything. The Kents would say this because he was such an obedient boy. He wouldn't need anyone else. All he'd need was his ma and pa. He would help them on the farm. And sure enough, the kids at the school would call him a freak, a space baby, even bizarro. But it didn't matter. Pa told him that those types of kids were just freeloaders, and nobody likes freeloaders. However, one night, Jonathan and Martha brought Clark to the barn to show him something. They wanted him to know that he was a gift to them from the gods, and that they hid this secret because they wanted to protect him. Clark looked at the hidden spaceship, asking, "I'm from space?" And Jonathan told him that he is the last of his kind, and you know what? They're glad that he knows. They're all that he's got. Clark screamed. They weren't doing this to protect him. They were doing this to keep him to themselves. Martha tried to reason with her boy to explain what they've done. But what was he supposed to be? Grateful? He owed them nothing. They used him to do their chores. They're the freeloaders. And now Owlman's story. When Thomas Wayne Jr. saw both his parents and brother Bruce killed, he knew from that moment it would drive him for years to come. It pushed him to the brink. It gave him purpose and resolve, and then he was given a sign in the form of an owl scarring his face. He would become a nocturnal predator to hunt down his prey. That in one moment, his moment, brought him to this inevitability. As Owlman holds Harvey Bullock over the ledge, he says that they were the ones that murdered the Waynes. They sent Gotham into a downward spiral, and they're going to jail for the rest of their lives. Harvey yells, "No, no, no, it wasn't him," so Owlman pushes Harvey close, telling him, "I remember, because I was there." Harvey asks how could he? Oh God, the boy, I didn't have a choice. Owlman swipes, cutting Harvey's face, telling him to explain, and Harvey asks, "Didn't you know? You were their kid, right? Didn't you inherit anything? Where do you think the money came from? They tried to take over, went after Boss Gordon himself, made it personal. His kid, Jimmy Jr. Your parents killed Gordon's son. You didn't expect consequences?" Owlman pauses for a moment. Harvey is lying. He must be lying. This is the moment of closure. If he puts Bullock away, then justice will be served. He could finally put his past to rest. But what if Harvey isn't lying? What if his parents were the criminals? What would that mean? Owlman laughs and Harvey asks, "What's so funny?" Owlman thinks to himself that it's not funny, but it's also not funny. In a way, he supposes he's moving on. Harvey says, "Come on. You don't want to become a killer like them. Gordon let you live. We let you live. Your parents tried to kill Gordon's whole family." Owlman takes off his mask, smiling. Those were some poorly chosen words. Harvey yells, "Wait, please, you have a code, remember?" And Owlman tells him, "Yeah, about that code. Turns out it doesn't matter. Nothing matters." And Owlman let go. Growing up in Demon's Island, Donna was raised on a mystical island of warrior women. As the queen's daughter, she was given the toughest training. Her mentors were harder on her than anyone else. They pushed her to anticipate strategy. No woman could beat her in hand-to-hand combat. She had embraced their code, fearless, relentless, merciless. But when a man found his way to their home for the first time, she didn't know what to expect. His name was Steve, and he told Donna that she was their last hope. Steve was small, soft, and Donna was drawn to him, and she cared for him. She would have done almost anything to stay with him except leave her home and go to his. Steve would talk of a war that his people were losing and that they needed her help. They needed warriors like her, and if she doesn't help, maybe there are others who will. As Steve held the knife to Donna's throat, he walked her right to Queen Hippolyta, stating that he needs 10 of their soldiers or he'll kill. Hippolyta looks at Steve and tells him to kill her. Steve says, What? And Hippolyta says that she thought Donna was stronger, not soft like Diana, save yourself. Donna breaks free from her hold, taking the knife that Steve held to her neck, burying it deep in his stomach. As Steve falls back, Hippolyta asks, "Did you learn anything today?" And Donna asks that he beat her? Not with weapons, but with words and emotions. She didn't see his strategy. Hippolyta tells her that that is her final lesson. Battle takes many forms, but now she has taken these weapons. They are her tools. Does she see now? Steve tries to sit up asking for help, but Donna steps on his throat. She sees now. Powerful beings were emerging from man's world. A new age of demigods was coming. She would infiltrate, rise to a position of power, find others like her, forge them into weapons, and one day she'll return to Demon's Island with her army and she will kill her mother and take the throne. And then maybe Hippolyta will finally be proud of her. And there you have it, issues 1 through 3 of The Crime Syndicate right here at the Comicstorian channel. If you enjoyed this, please let us know in the comments down below, and if you have nothing to say, give us a little smiley face. It'll really help with the algorithm. Don't forget to give this video a like and join us over at Patreon, and please consider joining our sponsor, Mint Mobile. It's a phone service that we use here in the office all the time. Anyway, guys, I just hope you're having a great day, and thank you so much for your continued support, and I will see you next time right here.